and all whenever that is.
Yeah, you know, leading right.
All right, let's go ahead and get the drainage committee meeting started. Let the record reflect that all members are present. We have two items today on the agenda. First item, update on drainage projects. Mr. Landry, you want to give us an update on all your drainage projects?
So I spoke to you on the phone about it. I'm still getting acclimated and trying to wrap my head around everything that was going on. Since I wasn't on the drainage project side, I kind of had to do a little bit of learning, but my goal, is to start weeding through them and picking, to try to get down on a list to pick the ones we're gonna go do. We're gonna try to spend more time, I'm gonna say 2 weeks per ward to try to knock out as many things as we can and try to walk away from some places with having everything done. Not just going to one place and do one thing and then leaving and going across the parish. So me and Brian and Pat are gonna sit down together and obviously go through them and see which ones we have materials for that we can put on the list and start doing. But yeah, I'm still trying my best to acclimate myself with everything. That's my goal.
Anybody got any drainage project issues they want to talk about?
Everything going good. So far, I'm satisfied with Eric is doing.
Just, Paul, did you hear anything back from the state as far as when, they could go down North Bay Road? We could assist them?
They pretty much, I talked to Aaron Ellisor and, I was waiting, I need to check up on that. He said he would have no issue with it, but I think we wanted something in writing. I requested something in writing here, but got back with you. So I'll check with him tomorrow morning, see if we get something back in writing. Cause I know that's what I think Mike had asked about us.
All right, if you and Mr. Landry
Yeah,
can
we'll
work
work
together on that.
We'll get you an answer tomorrow or the next day. I'll talk to
Chris,
Aaron
didn't you
Ellisor.
have one?
On 1003. 1003. It's on 1003.
Yeah, the state still didn't get the excavator that I'm aware of back yet.
All right, y'all can follow up on that. All right. Item number 2, discuss drainage issues on Agnes Street.
Yeah, coming to request approval of a culvert catch basin replacement installation at 132 Agnes Street in Ward 9. There's a bottleneck where there's a 63 feet of 15-inch in between the 18 on the north and south side of it. You can see I got a cost estimate prepared.
And they had to go remove some of it the other day when the water had a lot of rain, because it has some stump that's going.
Yeah,
through
the entire
pipe.
catch
It
basin
needs
was
something to go.
taken over with cypress knees.
The water couldn't pass through, so I'm gonna go ahead and change it all out while they're there. I probably out already, I just want to put a friend on the job.
All right, there's one thing I'd like to see, Mr. Landry, on your drainage projects is an estimated completion date on there also. All right, estimated costs on the Agnes Street project is $4,600.
Motion,
Motion by Mr. Mathern,
second.
second by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to have Mr. Landry kind of explain to the full jury what he and I talked about today on the labor costs. If you look at the labor cost for this project that we just approved, it's a good bit higher than what we're normally seeing for
Yeah.
labor costs. So I'd like him just to explain that going forward. for clarity.
So you're gonna see that it's gonna be substantially higher than what it was. I got with Miss Melissa and Miss Kim and getting everybody's updated hourly wage, and I got with them about a percentage that I'm gonna have to factor in to charge benefits to find out that person's actual daily rate. So 35% is what we agreed on. That would be, it's gonna cover everybody in the whole scale from the highest person down to the lowest. And I'm gonna factor that in when doing parish labor on every project. So you're gonna see it be higher, but It's gonna actually cover all of the labor that's gonna be involved.
Benefits.
Yeah, benefits, it's because it's 35%
of the benefits.
of the hourly rate, yeah. So it's gonna be higher.
So since those values are gonna be more of a true representation of the actual labor costs and not just an average hourly wage. But that's it. I'll second the motion, Joe.
All right, a motion by Mr. Mathern, second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
We'll call order our 4:55 Finance Committee meeting. The record reflects all members are present except Mr. Nakam. Request approval to pay list of bills submitted through May 3rd, 2024.
Move.
Motion by Mr. Mathern.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval of selection of official journal for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, for 1 year.
We did just receive one submission from the Bayou Journal and, under the same terms and conditions as previous year.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mathern.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carter. All in favor?
Bayou Pioneer, I'm sorry. That's their new name.
Opposed? Motion carried. Update on pricing for dual-facing cameras for parish vehicles.
Okay, so y'all asked me to get pricing on cameras with the same company that we recently got our GPS tracking with, which is Acadian Total Security. I got prices for buying the cameras, which is on state bid contract. It's $265 a camera. If you get the easy plug and play option, it's $39.20 a camera. And then per camera, it's a $16 monthly data plan fee. If we decide not to go with the plug and play option and our maintenance guys can't install them, won't install whatever, it's $126 to get them installed per camera. If we rent them, it's no money down, monthly lease payment options, $26.99 a month. The plug and play hardware is included. It's 36-month contract. If we don't, like if for some reason we want them hardwired, it's $90 per vehicle and $49 per trip, and it would take 8 to 10 days to do the 40 we have.
You know, real fast with all those.
It's all on the papers that when y'all all have
We have a paper?
in your packet.
So what's the total for renting versus
Totals,
purchasing for all the vehicles that we got, that we was to get?
we have 40, I'm pretty sure. So I didn't do the totals. I just got the per vehicle pricing.
I think we need to look at the total for purchasing versus rental and installation.
If we purchase it, what type of warranty do we have versus if we rent it, if any of the system breaks, they'll go ahead and under contract, they'll repair
Renting,
everything.
they're gonna upgrade it when we get new ones, but it's just, the only problem is it's not state bid contract when you rent it.
I would, prefer to rent them, that way any upgrades that, Geotab comes with, you could always upgrade them. If you rent them, once you buy them, they're yours.
On the rentals, if they come to change the camera, there's another installation fee for a swap out?
It's just plug and play.
They probably would just send you the camera,
Yeah,
you send no
change
one
it
back,
yourself.
and if you rent it, you get the plug and play included. The ones they sent us to test, they didn't send the plug and play, and now we're getting it installed.
I guess the question is, Aaron, if we was to get these cameras, how beneficial would that be to you? How much time do you have to sit and watch cameras,
So from my understanding, a lot of these companies, they have parameters you can set to get notified of something. I don't know, me and you spoke about it for a second. I don't know if this company does that, like they have parameters where you can set a seatbelt alarm or a distraction where the camera doesn't sense a person's face or hard braking, hard turning, speeding. It sends notifications. From my understanding, a lot of companies have it. I guess I would set time to sit and view them if it has something like that, that we could look at certain times. Other than that, I don't,
Yeah, you know, look at.
I'm not just,
Make
I
you get
don't think we
emergency.
just sit there and.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you.
Pop
you
in.
wouldn't have to
Yeah.
This
cover
is
them.
something you go back on.
If
and
somebody get a wreck or something,
something happens.
yeah, somehow they go back and look at the cameras.
You could always go back, I mean, there's just about every option you could think of, from sending an email to where the vehicle is overheating, low oil pressure. If the vehicle is stopped for X amount of minutes, you could set it for whatever you would like.
So all that's included in the
All
GPS
of
we
that is
already
included.
have.
We
The
already
camera,
have.
I don't know what other, like, I don't know what other parameters that's gonna set. Like I'm saying, if you're not looking forward and all, I don't know if that's.
So we don't have all the details of what all perimeters we are looking at with these cameras right here we talking about.
I'm just, I mean, I have a sheet with the specs of the camera. But as far as like the software and what we can set as alerts, I didn't ask that.
You could set anything.
Yeah, I know we can do
Anything you
what we
can set
have
it
now
as
with
an
GPS,
alert.
I'm just not sure what the camera has.
Camera has the same thing, it plugs into the same device.
All right, I'll suggest that we maybe ask Justin to bring us a list of these. If it's 40 vehicles, we see what vehicles we actually talking about for the 40. And then look at them and see what vehicles we actually want the cameras on. And then see what that total cost would be.
You don't put them on all of them, or discriminate which ones we're gonna
Put
put them on.
in every single vehicle.
But
Every vehicle.
I understand, but do you have a list of what those vehicles are? That's what I'm asking for. I'd like to see a list of the vehicles that we're putting them on to make sure that those are the vehicles that
How many
We expect them to be
vehicles
on.
we have?
is
It's
40.
it's about, I could look it up online in a minute. It's, it's listed on our website. I'm sure you log into yours. It's every vehicle we have it.
So 40 vehicles.
I would say for it, yeah, I mean, I think we might have it on 39, one's in the shop and that one we still gotta install because it's in the shop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it'd be 40 vehicles, Leroy. I'm not on the committee to make the motion, but if I was there, I would make it.
I agree with Leroy, just bring us back the total, with the
Yeah,
total
we don't
cost
know
for the
what
next
total
meeting,
is.
for the rental.
And we need to find out where this is coming from in the budget. So we're talking about $15,000 a year
Yeah.
for just the rental. That's not the installations. So that's gonna be a recurring annual expense.
Plug and play, you don't need an installation. If you go that option, which is free with the rental. I say free, but it's included with the rental. And so you just plug it in to the side of the existing GPS unit. So they do.
Didn't you just say that GPS can do all these features that Jamie's talking about?
Well, yeah, but it can't record. I don't know, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what else.
I know, but we're not, so we're not even using the GPS to its fullest capability.
I don't know what else it adds. The only alert I signed up for is if somebody unplugs it from the truck.
So we
You
already
can
have,
set other alerts, but none of it.
We're already paying for GPS.
so we already got GPS that let us know where our vehicles are at all times.
Just if something happens, y'all gonna wish y'all had it.
I don't disagree. We just have to know how we're gonna pay for it. That's-
Let's just table this till the next meeting, give us some more information, Chester.
What information exactly y'all want? Just the.
Total cost, we want,
Get the list of vehicles, what department they belong to, and then a whole option based on purchase and rent.
and then we gotta identify funding source for it.
Right.
Funding and what it does more versus the GPS.
Okay.
Size of unit.
Other than the
Besides the
camera
visual, yeah.
part. Okay.
Item 3 is table, let's please add it on the next, May agenda. Request approval to purchase emergency response fuel trailer and discuss funding source for remaining balance.
Yes, sir, gentlemen. The last meeting, we had 3 representatives from the industry that donated some money for our fuel trailer. That total donation was $24,000. I put an estimate for a fuel trailer in front of y'all. Total cost of a fuel pit is $28,995, and this is on state bid. So, I would need, $4,995 of funding. Purchase the fuel pit for emergency response. That's to fuel the generators. That is to replace our 1992 model 6,000 gallon fuel truck that no longer can be on the road. So this would benefit us during storm events for fueling generators at shelters and at sewer plants and wherever else you need fuel during emergency events.
Are we still carrying insurance on that truck?
Probably so, but we can cancel that tomorrow.
Yeah, man, that saves some money there.
You got a funding source?
The only
Funding source would be general fund.
eligible funding source, in my opinion, is general. Or OEP, but OEP is funded through general fund, but it's an emergency vehicle. It's not a road and bridge vehicle. It's not special industry. Paul and I discussed that.
I make a motion that we purchase it. Get the funds when we get our funds.
Motion by Mr. Carter that balance of funds comes from general fund. Second by Mr. Alcorn, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss jail nurse position.
This was put back on after the discussion last week. I have not had any further communication. I did have communication with you that you may have spoken to Dr. Landry that,
Yes, Dr. Landry asked that we get together with him. He has someone that he believes would be interested in a position. And he just wanted to make sure he got with us before we made a decision to go with a firm from outside the parish. So I was actually just waiting for Ms. Torres to get back from vacation so that we can schedule that meeting and see what options he has to see what that package would be, to see what that option is. So there's really no action on it. It's just to, I guess, inform everybody that Dr. Landry has reached out and asked us to consider it.
the sheriff did let me know that Franny's last day would be December 13th. So towards the latter part of the year, we got a little bit of time, but we'll schedule something next week.
No action on that item. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn, second by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
It's 5:08. We'll get the personnel committee meeting started. Let the record reflect all members are present except Mr. Nuckin. Item number 1, request approval for 2 additional weeks of FLMA leave for CDF employee.
You put it on.
It's a request. It's a personnel request.
I'm saying, what department?
Yeah, what is it?
CDF, administrative employee and CDF, Mercedes is employed.
So move.
Motion by Chris,
Second.
second by Mr. Palmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passed. Request approval for transfer of Rayetta Crochet to accountant at a grade 8, step 16, after 90-day transitional for a new grants coordinator.
These,
Did we put this on the going executive session? Put this in the next one with the raises? Did you do a memo
Okay,
for
for
that?
the next one.
well, all 3 of these employees have been notified, so they have the option to discuss in forum or
Okay.
executive session, whatever.
I make a motion to go into executive session.
For item 2, 3, and 4.
But don't they have a right?
Yeah, they have a right.
Okay.
Yeah, Dylan.
If y'all discussing my performance, I'm okay with it. My performance or non-performance, that I'm okay with it being out here if I can't be in executive session.
If you can't be in executive session,
Right.
yeah, you can be in
If you
executive session.
discuss me, I would want to be a part of that discussion.
You can be in executive
You can
session,
come-
it's not a problem.
I'm not on the committee.
Okay, I made a motion for
Motion by
executive session.
Chris,
Second.
second by Leroy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Motion to re-enter regular session?
Motion by Leroy,
Second.
second by Jamie, all in favor? Any nays? Back in regular session. Item number 2, request approval to transfer rate of crochet to accountant at a grade 8, step 16, not to exceed 90-day transition for a new grants coordinator.
Motion, no.
Motion.
Motion by Jamie,
Second.
second by Leroy, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passed. Item number 3, request approval of pay increase for Michelle Solar, accountant to grade 8, step 18, and Melissa Rivera, accountant to grade 8, step 32, effective May 17th.
So moved.
Motion by Leroy,
Second.
second by Jamie, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passed. Item 4, discuss grants coordinator position. We'll table this. We have a meeting set up for next Tuesday
South Central.
with South Central Planning. Number 5, discuss opening special assistant secretary treasurer's position.
That we're gonna, I'd like authorization to fill the position based on the candidates already in-house. And, if that cannot happen, then I will seek to advertise.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Jamie,
Second.
second by Leroy, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion passed.
And I do have something for, Aaron to deviate for, a maintenance worker that needs FMLA leave.
Motion deviate.
Motion to deviate by Leroy, second by Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
So requesting FMA leave for 2 weeks for a maintenance employee.
FMLA leave for 2 weeks for maintenance employees.
We just have to submit the paperwork now. We need to get that paperwork done.
Right, he hadn't come pick it up yet today. I'm gonna try to reach out to him tomorrow and maybe coordinate. If I have to go bring it to him, I will bring it to him.
All right, public comment? On one. Public comment going twice? 3 times? No public comment?
Motion to approve FMLA leave for the maintenance employee for 2 weeks.
Second.
Motion by Leroy, second by Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passed. Motion to adjourn.
So
Motion by Leroy, second by Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
We'll go ahead and get started with Road and Bridge Committee meeting. Let the record reflect that all members are present, except for Mr. Knocking. 2 items on the agenda. 1, request approval of application quantity of placements of speed bumps on Concierge Road, Ward 4. Dustin?
Yes, so this was a application that was submitted, probably about a month ago, month and a half, and I got around to completing it. They have 75% of the qualified property owners have signed it. Suggest 3 speed bumps based on the distance of the street. They meet all of the other application standards. So suggest we.
What's your recommendation? Can I entertain a motion to approve? Got a motion by Mr. Bro,
Second.
second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, ayes have, it, motion carried. Item number 2, update on road overlay program, Sawa.
Yes, there's not a whole lot to update on with you this evening. We processed another invoice that came in yesterday and got that processed. So my staff is in the process of putting that into that spreadsheet that I provided to you all at the last meeting. Once it's complete, like I said, those numbers came in yesterday, so they didn't have time to quite finish it for tonight's meeting, but it will be emailed to each one of you individually by tomorrow afternoon. I suspect we'll have that done. But as it stands currently, we are working in wards 7 and 9, doing patchwork in preparations of the overlay stuff to come. We did have some minor delays. We had an asphalt plant went down earlier this week. It cost us a day there. We've got it back up and running. We do need to adjust the schedule that Brian had sent out to you all because it's pushed back approximately about 2 days. I will be meeting with the contractor again on, we're scheduled to be on Route to Cajun on Friday, shooting elevations and so forth in preparation of the coming paving. Are there any other questions?
I have one question. There are a few spots that I know a public works department has dug up the road for sewer repairs or if the water plant dug it up for, water repairs and stuff. Can you coordinate with them and see where those areas are and see what additional cost that would be to the road program to get those areas patched? Because they,
Certainly.
most all of them still have limestone in it, and it
Right.
just hadn't been repaired properly.
Correct, and certainly, and in any time it's caught or brought to our attention, we try to address some of those issues of. An example would be halfway Bruley Moran Road on the way into the side street. We were able to. I met with you out there. There was some potholes and different things that we really needed to address. So yes, if we can.
There's two sections on Belrose Lane
Okay.
as well.
And if Public Works has a known list, we'll be happy to go out and measure those areas and get you a cost, and get you something so that we can bring it to you for you to consider.
And some of those, potholes have been dug by other companies coming in, gas companies. I got several on some of my streets, but I mean, there's gonna be a lot if we start looking into it.
Yeah, we still need to repair them though. I mean,
In the past, we have had issues with, especially the private utility companies and gas companies coming, because they don't necessarily
Have to get a permit.
notify the Public Works, property. And when we can catch them, it's able to do, but.
And I got Savage Street too that came up at the last meeting, but I like to leave it a couple of drawers on that street, while bringing up to y'all, so I'll, for the next meeting. I just don't want to bring it up tonight. I like to show y'all the meeting, the street first.
Joseph, any update on the punch list on, Seraphim?
On Seraphim? We have updated that list. I've sent it to the contractor. I don't
Okay,
have,
Brian, to send it to me.
I don't have a time frame yet on those completions, but I'll be glad to send you that updated list.
On your plans, of the specs of the roads, were any of these areas notified on the plans, or this was all done after you had drew your plan?
I'm sorry, I can.
For the road construction, you did give the contractor a set of plans, right,
Yes, sir.
on the roads?
Mhm.
Any of these areas was identified in the plans?
Talking about areas where there's.
Where did your,
Yes,
Some other
yes, if they
contractor
were
went in and
there,
dug out of-
in other words, if there's, I'll give you a prime example. Mike Street, for instance, he was given a set of plans. We knew that there was a culvert that had to be put across there. There was some other, so if it was there when we did the existing survey to prepare the plans, then yes, it
so that
wasn't.
cost should be in the plans?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shouldn't be any additional cost?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. It wouldn't. Now, if something was cut after, then, after that initial survey, then yes, that would be, but as it stands now, wherever we saw anytime that there's a cut or anything on any road that we do, if it's already there, it's taken into account in the current budget and design. So yes, if, I guess the first things first, if Public Works has a list of those locations, we're gonna go to each one and I'll be able to tell you, hey, yes, this was already addressed on the plans, or no, this would be additional. But even, I can tell you this, with Brian being on site and coordinating with the contractor, typically, we've been picking them up. If we get out there and they say, hey, there's a hole in the road, that wasn't here or wasn't shown on the plans, he lets us know and he gives us a cost, and of course, if it's within that contingency budget that I already have given you, then we move forward and approve him to fix it.
Any other questions?
That's it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sarwell. Motion to adjourn. Thank you. By Mike, also a second by Leroy. Motion to adjourn.
Engineering Grants Committee meeting, we'll call to order. The chairman, Mr. Nakane, is not here. First item, update on project status and funding sources by GIS Engineering.
Good evening, Jerry. Rusky, GIS Engineering. How's everybody doing this evening? Just as an update, we're tracking what's going on in the Capitol, House bills, and also talking to CPRA and other agencies on funding sources and seeing how we can address some more projects inside the master plan. So brief update, that's where we at.
I know on the Michael Joe Lamar Street, I think it's down here, but you had received an updated, specs and comments?
Not the spec book. We're still waiting on the spec book for Jolimar and also for Belrose.
All right, but upon receipt of that, you were gonna review task order 1
Correct.
estimate to bring back to us, right? So we have not reviewed that at this time.
Not yet.
Okay.
Once that, spec book comes in, we'll do it all together. Any other further comments, which we don't anticipate, and we'll address all at once. Would you like to see something initially, earlier? We could get
Not
into.
until you review what you
Right.
need to review
Right,
to
that's-
revise
that
it,
was-
no.
Okay.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, guys.
Update from the Planners Design Group.
So Alice Boudreaux, DDG, as before, survey is complete. We're starting to get deliverables now. We sent, the preliminary plat to y'all yesterday. I think the surveyor's in another week or two for a QA, QC and due diligence on that. And then in the meantime, we're just moving forward on our own design, the E&D of y'all systems, starting north and moving south.
Gerald Street, looks like everything's going good for the levy. The Gerald Street.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that one. I think it's
All right,
number 13.
right. Do it now, you gonna wait till, huh? Let's do it now while you're up.
Sure. Yeah, so we had that good conversation, I think it was this week or last week. And there is another thing or two to discuss before moving forward with permitting, just making sure y'all have all the information at your disposal. There's a few different ways that levy can go, not with respect to the alignment, but with mitigation impacts on how we build that levy and, in situ material versus we bring in material. Can we use Bayou Natchez as an intake canal in its current system, or do we create a new intake canal? So there's a good meeting we'd like to have with y'all before moving forward on that permit and put y'all on a hold.
Yeah, let's move us, do it real quick, but we need that permit to start that levy, so.
Yeah,
As
and
soon as, we can meet and discuss the drainage and
Mhm.
dishes and all that, let's make that happen.
absolutely, if y'all have bandwidth next week.
Uh,
All right, let's just email back and forth and we'll get something set up by Friday for
Sounds
next
great.
week.
Y'all want to discuss number 14 now too?
Go
or-
ahead, everything you have.
Okay. So we had a good conversation with the Corps today. And similar to like Gerald Street levy, there's a few different ways before we modify those permit drawings. There's another good conversation to have before putting y'all on a hold. So also want to have that meeting, that sit down if we can.
It's gonna be with the same people, so let's combine those two meetings.
Perfect. If you, Friday of this week works.
That was good for you.
we're done Friday.
No, we're gonna coordinate it by Friday.
Okay, good deal.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll coordinate by
I
Friday.
want to
set
make it
the
happen
meeting for next
Friday.
week.
Okay,
All right, that's cool.
perfect.
Update from Infinity Engineering? Hi, Brian, can you hear us? Brian, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Give us an update, please.
Yes, I have no no big changes. Just to reiterate, our bid package is complete. We have been talking to Rietta and Brian about the backfill of this private septic tanks for Ewell, Virginia. We discussed that last week or last 2 weeks ago. And also providing a proposal to do the rate study. I'm still waiting on details for what the requirements of the rate study are. And we're just having some internal discussions about the best way to include the backfill and tie-ins for the Ewell, Virginia new sewer system. There's two different ways we can go about it. We can either cover it with notes on the drawings to leave it to the contractor to require it. The only problem that we have with that is it may increase the bid amounts for that portion of the work. We can also, instead of doing that, we can send our survey crews out there to locate everything, to include more specific information on the drawings and narrow down the cost for including that in the package. But we're still having discussions about the best way to do it and the best options to protect the parish from overpaying for that portion of the work.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't our discussions last meeting about if we even had to do it?
That is.
Well, it would be an extra. It's not included in our contract now. We would have to submit a proposal. I mean, either way we do it, it's either gonna cost more or less from an engineering perspective. We're gonna have to modify our drawings either way we go. But it's either gonna be modifying our drawings and providing the survey work as a service from us, or we modify the drawings to put it on the contractor to verify it themselves so they can make an accurate bid in the best way possible. But we're still having discussions about what's the best way to do it, because we don't want the parish to overpay or including that work.
You're talking about tie-ins or backfill? Because you mentioned both.
We're talking about both. So Ewell, Virginia has nothing but private septic systems right now. Ewell Street and Virginia Street has nothing but private septic systems. And the goal is to require all the residents tie in, and that's going to be paid by this project. So it's backfill and tie-ins of.
But the backfill was optional.
Well,
That I need to confirm. I mean, it would be easy.
Let me cut you off, Brian, for a minute, okay? So
Yes,
on the last 3 sewer system projects that we did,
Yeah,
Bertrandville, Grant, Lou, Peterbilt. Contractor did all the tie-ins, they did all the backfills.
right.
I went to Sawai Industries because they were the engineering firm for those projects.
Yes,
And the
sir.
way they went about doing it, they did an average cost for the plumbing. They got what the plumbing went out there, got an average cost, what it would cost, and multiplied that time the number of houses. They also did an average cost on what it would cost to backfill the tanks. So I don't see, and I spoke with Raul this week.
Yes, sir.
For a survey team to come out there and do actual measurements for each residence, when we can go with an average cost,
Well,
multiplied by the number of houses, and you're gonna be within the plus or minus,
well, that's what I was saying. We can either do it that way, or we can do it because I'm not going to be the professional engineer. I'm the project manager for this project. Somebody else will be stamping the drawings, and it's a conversation between the parish and the person stamping the drawings of what they feel most comfortable with. But the parish being our client, we don't want the parish to overpay. I mean, we can say, hey, it's going to cost an average of this amount. But if the contractor gets on site and you have a lot that has 3 trailers on it, and it may have 1 septic tank, it might have 2, it might have 3, those costs can increase exponentially, and
Listen,
that would
Brian.
generate, change orders and RFIs, and those are all costs that are going to be incurred by the parish. And, we can either narrow down the scope
Brian,
on
if
the
you need me to,
drawings,
I
or
can
we can leave it
offer-
up to the contractor to verify for themselves, which may come back in the form of a higher bid price, which wouldn't be readily apparent when you look at a bid price or a bid from a contractor, because it's all inclusive. We want the parish to pay as little as possible to get this job done. And we have to discuss what the best way to go about getting that work included is going to be.
Brian, the only issue would be where you got multiple residents on one piece of property. So that would be the only property that you have to go check to say, okay, do we have 1 tank down or do we have 2 tanks down?
Well, that may be the case. Some of them, we may not be able to locate at all. And the other thing is, is the tank at the front of the property or is it at the back of the property? If we were to go and survey to find them, we would have to locate as much as we could. And I don't think there's a whole lot of certainty that we would find all of them. We would do our best.
It's not that hard, Brian. I think y'all making this harder than what it is. Okay, we went through 3 projects like this already. And it wasn't that hard. I mean, a tank is easy to see. I mean, if you want me to go out there and locate every tank and tell you how many we got between both streets, I can do it for you.
No, sir. I mean, like I said, it's a conversation between the parish. And we can proceed with, whatever y'all think is the best idea. But like I said, our biggest concern is because when there's uncertainty on the drawings, when we just say on the drawing, say, hey, contractor, you need to field verify this prior to making your bid. If they don't feel comfortable knowing what they're up against, they'll just submit a really high price. And I mean, there are things we can do to protect that by counting quantities during the construction. But it's just not typically how we like to present a bid package.
Brian, have you been out to the site?
Say it again, sir.
You been out to the site?
Can we come to the site?
Have you been out to the site?
Yes, sir. I haven't walked Ewell and Virginia. I've seen the site where the lift station and the treatment plant's gone. I've looked at it on Google Earth, but I haven't walked the street. No, sir.
So if you notice on you in Virginia, most of your residents, your houses are about the same distance from the center of the road. So that's why I'm saying, if you get a plumber, go out there and get a average cost, how many feet it is to tie in, and you multiply that by the number of houses, you're not gonna be that far off. This fuel septic tank for a single residence might cost you $300. Multiply that times the number of houses.
I mean, I think that's worth that exercise is worth doing. And we can look into that.
All right, so when are you gonna have your engineer record request a meeting with the parish?
As soon as you want to, we can do it next week.
All right, well, we need him to follow up so that, we need to get this taken care of as soon as possible. So have him send that request in to Brian so that we can schedule it.
I sure will.
Also, I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Brian, you did say that, y'all are ready to go off a 30-day bid.
When we receive the go-ahead from, it's not the funding agency, I've talked to this lady, Tracy Watts, and I know she works for CDBG. I know that's not the funding agency, but she says, once we give you the go-ahead and everything's been approved, she says we need a bid within 30 days. We can file extensions, and the extensions would be, because the property for Ewell, Virginia hasn't been acquired yet, and the rate study also needs to be completed. So those would be things we could file an extension for.
So my question to you is that why we can't phase this out, since this is a parish-wide sewer treatment upgrade? We know we still have to require all the land and all the stuff for you, Virginia, but we already have established sites within other parts of the parish with sewer lift stations and tanks, et cetera. So why can't we go ahead and phase this out and start it? And when your Virginia packet is complete, they just fall right in line, whether they're in phase 2 or phase 3. I'm not understanding why we should have a delay with this.
I would have to check with the funding agency to see if that is allowable, because sometimes doing 2 different bids is not, but I mean, I could check with them. It would also require 2 different bid phases, in a restructuring of the bid package, because we would have to have a phase 1 and a phase 2. So we would have to take everything from Ewell, Virginia and move it to a phase 2. At face value, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal as far as a labor engineering cost sounds. But there would definitely be two different bid phases and construction administration costs associated with that.
I mean,
Keep in mind also that that rate study has to be completed. So this board has to realize that when we have been advised the state is performing the rate study. So when the rate study is performed, they're gonna look at cost for maintenance for so many years out. If they come up with a figure that far exceeds what we currently charge, we have to increase the rates of all sewer districts throughout the parish. Is this jury prepared to do this? Because if they do not, we can't spend this money. That's why the rate study has to be done first. That's a very important part.
There's a lot of things that jury need to be prepared to do. Just like you say yes, Jamie, to the sewer treatment plants, say yes to the 11 districts that are not paying their fair share for the work that they're getting done. We'll spend almost $1 million on drainage projects that most of it should be covered by the 11 districts, and nobody's paying a penny.
Ms. Bree, any further questions for Infinity?
thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Melissa, you have
Ron, I just want to let you know that we did receive communication from the state that they are not giving us the authorization to move forward with the project yet. We don't have an authorization to advertise yet. We still have to get that from the state before we can put it out. Even if they were finished with everything, we still waiting on the state to give that authorization.
And they waiting on the rate study.
Well, no, they told us on the rate study side, the parish could move forward without the rate study, but we'd have to sign a certification that says that we will accept whatever the answer to that rate study is, and we'll adapt those rates. If we don't, then everything that they have paid toward the project, the parish would have to pay back to the state. But we did just get a notification that they have assigned somebody to do the rate study, so
that's-
that
hopefully
will be
that's soon.
starting.
And that's all coming under the water sector, right?
Correct.
Well, we have 80% of the funds that's not coming under the Recovery Act money.
But you gotta follow both of them together.
I don't have a problem with, but I don't think the Fed is asking for that, right? You said the state is asking for
This
that
is
under the water
sector
sector
side.
money.
Correct.
And how
But
much did we
remember
get?
what I
$1
told
million?
y'all previously, any project that you wish to do that the project scope is the same, you can't break it up. You have to bid it out together.
Understood.
So where we stand on the purchase of the land for Virginia?
Where we at?
We, I have that on my,
That's part of her updates for y'all.
yes,
Yeah, I think she's up next. All right.
Update from the grants coordinator / accountant.
good evening. Pottenville Drainage, the documents were hand delivered to Baton Rouge on Friday, April 24th. The reports for our Keep Louisiana Beautiful grant, trash receptacles, and the Love the Booty event have been submitted. LWI Bayou St. Vincent Round 2, the CEA has been approved. Constant Canal, the H&H study extension has been approved for August 31st. The cost analysis has also been approved. I emailed Mr. Calabro the contract for his review. And last meeting, it was approved to enter into contract with Mr. Charles McDonald, but he withdrew his quote. So I had to get another quote, and with that, I am requesting approval to enter into contract with the lowest bidder for the survey of Virginia Street for the water sector sewer improvements project with GIS engineering. That was $3,500. So we got pushed back. 'Cause-
Entertain a motion to enter into contract with GIS for $3,500 for surveying on U Virginia.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Diaz,
Second.
second by, sorry, who was it? Mathern, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Request approval to amend the scope of the Pottenville Drainage Project. Ron,
Yeah, we need some, I'm asking for a resolution from the jury to amend the the excerpt in the capital outlay request act project description. The improvements will include enlarging the existing collection system and installing a retention pond to assist the removal of runoff during peak drainage, peak rainfalls. And we'd like to remove the words pumping station to align the final project design with the actual request. So there were some things we needed to clean up in the description of the project from Mr. James Lee. And so I need that resolution authorizing that so we can send that, so we can move to the next stage. Mr. Sawal, you got anything else?
No, that was pretty much it. We had received a letter from Mr. Lee, and that was some of his requested language to align the final design with the project allocation. Basically, we're achieving the same thing by installing the reservoir pond in lieu of putting a pumping station to remove the water faster. So he just wanted that language to kind of clean it up.
All right. Motion by Mr. Alcorn to change the
I'm
language.
I'm not on the.
So just to clarify, there is no cost change. This is just a scope wording change.
Yes.
For the funding.
Just a scope wording change, no cost change.
Entertain a motion? Motion by Mr. Bro, second. You good? Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mathern, all in favor? Opposed?
Nobody's voting?
Any opposed? Motion carried. Ms. Crochet?
I did receive an email, from Mr. Richard Campbell. He is with Newgen Strategies and Solutions. He is the one that has been assigned to do the rate study for water sector programs, so I will be getting in contact with him. And that's it.
Do we have the, on Shell Beach, is the environmental assessment complete?
No,
No.
Julie, what's more, it's a month now.
We expect, I should have that completed by the end of next week. We did, as you said, we came across, there's a septic tank on the site, so we're addressing that, as well as any other, we've sent people out just checking materials and stuff as far as hazards. We've got most of the report run up, but I want to see how we need to address that existing plant or lift station or whatever.
You got a sewer tank on the property. The people on the property gotta get it out.
Right,
Not all
but I
the
just have
farm.
to list it, it has to be listed in the report as part of the environmental assessment that there is an existing tank on the site. So we're gonna put that in there and tidy up that report and move.
You got 2 weeks.
Yes,
I
sir.
need that report by 2 weeks.
Yes,
By
sir.
the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
For the Virginia U, once the survey is done, are we ready to purchase the property?
We still have to do the appraisal,
So the appraisal still haven't been done yet?
because we're waiting on a survey.
You don't know how much land we're buying.
Well, when I mentioned that a couple of months ago, we said, we can get the appraisal done without doing the
No, we
survey.
wanted to authorize to do both at that time in case we got the appraisal done, the survey done before the next meeting. That was our.
GIS, how long do you think y'all get that survey done?
Like 2 to 3 weeks by the time you get the field work. Gotta get over to Justin for approval for subdivision.
All right.
Loretta, on Shell Beach, hold on, after we do that assessment,
I'm waiting on the abstract from Mr. Tommy Dagg's office, and then I'll send that to, I think Brennan Ordway.
so as soon as all that, we ready to purchase the property.
We gotta do the same.
The same
Right.
thing, so you're gonna need
Right.
abstract work and all the same thing.
Right.
All right. Any other items? Thank you. Request approval for a 4.5-foot hardship variance on the side property line at 5572 Highway 1, Ward 6.
Okay, this constituent is trying to subdivide his, piece of property. If you look at the map, he wants to subdivide it right there. And there's another structure where you see the dirt, but it's just not on this map yet. And that's the building that would be 4 foot closer than this, than the 8 foot wide. So he wants to subdivide it and sell the piece with the mobile home to a relative. So whoever's gonna be buying it's okay with it already. And the guy owns both the pieces. He just can't divide it if, he's not gonna meet the setbacks once he does it.
And this, so from the drawing you hear that the setback would be to the lean-to or to the building?
This way, like toward the mobile home. Like I said, there's a building in there that is not shown on the drawing yet. See that dirt behind the RV? On the other.
The farm?
Yeah, exactly. That's where the building is that he can approach. But he owns all the property right now. He just wants to. So,
It was shown on the drawing, there's a existing metal building and then existing lean-to,
that's what I'm saying. On this sheet,
right?
We need
See
a
the
copy color
dirt?
too. Yep.
it just isn't. Yeah, I have one. It didn't come out clear.
Black and white.
Okay. So right behind this RV, there's a dirt patch and that's where the building is. It's just in this picture. It's
I understand,
not-
but there's a lean-to between the building and
The
the
trailer.
proposed line.
You can't see it.
Right here.
See the carport.
The lean-to is what causes it to not be
In compliance.
in compliance.
That's
That
what
structure.
I'm
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
My bad.
The motion to approve a 4.5 hardship variance.
Neighbors all right with?
What's up?
Neighbors are good?
Motion
He's the
by
owner.
Mr. Diaz,
He's the owner. of both.
He owns both. He just needs to
Why
divide
you
it.
coming up first for variance?
Because he's trying to divide the land and he wouldn't be in
Trying to abide by the
compliance.
rules of the parish.
Right?
a motion by Mr. Diaz, can I get a second? Second by Mr. Bro, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Update on fire hydrant project.
Yeah, I kind of put this back on the agenda. Last meeting, we did have some discussions, that I made the jury aware. That Senator Price, did put, an amendment in the bill to secure us the funding to go ahead and continue with fire hydrant, program. With that being said, with having conversations, with Mr. Savoy, who was over the project, and also through some text messages, with Leroy, look like we're gonna have to go out for 30-day bid to move forward to try to get these fire hydrants installed. So, I'm not on the, engineering grants committee, but, I'd like to put out there that we need to entertain a motion to go out for a 30-day bid for this,
Do we have some language yet?
Well, it's already been
it's
bid
already
once.
written. He just, I mean,
Can we just give them the water plant to do with their list?
no, not.
And the money.
We're gonna lose the money.
We're gonna lose the money. We don't wanna lose 275,000. So, we need to go ahead. I mean, it's already done. Per Senator Price, so, I think we need to go out and advertise for that, for the remaining.
Waterworks, they gonna put them up?
Waterworks gonna put up whatever left over, but we got $277,000
We're not gonna leave that money on the table.
on the table that we can get a contract to put some in.
Say what? You come to the phone.
We don't
We
have
need
an
some kind of-
official extension yet.
You don't have the official extension yet?
Yeah, we need
No,
something
no,
official
We
first.
shouldn't.
The bill has been filed, but it hadn't been, voted on and signed by the governor yet. The language is in the bill too.
It's in the bill.
So we need to wait
So you wanna wait till after May 30?
Spending,
Mhm.
until we get that official
It needs to be official.
notification, we can't spend that money.
I'll make a phone call. All right. Table this until, January, June.
January.
The June meeting.
We might
Alright.
see January.
Update on Bell Rose drainage project.
Yes, we had delivered the plans to the jury. Prior to the last meeting, we also forwarded them on to GIS for review. Met with Mr. Blanchard this afternoon to go over the final, just preview of the final plan. Based on budgetary numbers, we are now going to go ahead and try to phase that project to fit within the current monies available. Now that we're aware of that and what that budget is, we'll prepare the final bid proposal to be staged and bid in that fashion, with a budget set. I'll have that incorporated into the specifications, by the end of this week and get a completed set of everything back over to GIS with the specifications and that bid proposal, by Monday of next week.
So you say phase that project out.
Yes.
How much is the budget for barrels?
So that's what I'm gonna be bringing up. So the most recent estimate that I received from Mr. Sava last week was $440,000. We had 220,000 was the original estimate that we received 3 years ago when we started the project. So the updated estimate is more. A part of that project is cleaning out part of the outfall that I've already had some assistance from the sugar mill in cleaning that part out. So we can remove that. But I still don't have enough to go out to bid for the remaining of the project.
How much do you have for that project?
220,000 is what I have
So what they
allocated
got
right
it,
now. So
what they got in non-bond?
the remaining that we have in non-bond is 168,926.
Which will bring you up to
You'd be close.
160?
Should bring you close enough, because if you take out the work that you already have done.
No, that's exactly what I'm gonna ask for, is if I'll ask if I can have the additional that's remaining in Go Mesa to put towards this project. It'll get me closer, but I know that we're not gonna get to the estimate that he's given me because we're gonna take some of that scope out. And that's what he's talking about is phasing it so that once we go out to bid, that contractor knows that that part is not gonna be part of his scope.
Definitely.
That project needs to happen.
And that, gentleman, is the only reason that the final specifications hadn't been delivered yet, because those things needed to be determined to be put into that bid proposal. That's part of those specs.
This project is way overdue. It need to be
Yeah, it
done.
needs to be done. They need some help.
I entertain a motion to allocate the remaining 168,926 to get us close to the project estimate. Can I get a motion? Motion by Mr. Diaz. Second by Mr. Bro. All in favor? Opposed?
No, we have no one.
Leroy,
carried.
that should get you to 368,940. That should get you close.
Close.
Should be close. Make it happen, Joe. Those people need help down there in Belrose.
Update on Ag Center roof project.
Ag Center roof project, I've been coordinating and sending the email correspondences to Mr. Blankenship. I know he's not here this evening, but we did finally get some movement from the contractor. He provided the preliminary submittals that we've been requesting. He did finally provide a work schedule. Now, the work schedule is contingent upon delivery of his materials, and he sent in the submittal for the roof system that he was proposing to use. It did not meet specification, therefore we rejected it. He then resubmitted preliminarily one today, but it was not in the form of a formal submittal. I did review it and it does meet specification. I informed them of that, and so that they said they would be resending that to me in a form of a formal submittal along with a material delivery date. The projected material delivery date that they have given me is 2 weeks from the date of my approval. And then they, according to the owner or the person that we have been put in touch with, he's stating that they will be on site to start construction within 48 hours of that material being dropped to the site. But
Okay,
again,
yeah.
I'm still
Okay.
waiting on that formal submittal.
Yeah, the contractor should know the roof is suitable or not.
So much cheaper.
You know, why waste so much time?
So wait.
I can't speak for the contractor and whether or not, how they did this thing. I can tell you that what was submitted to me, which is required under the contract, did not meet that specification, therefore it was rejected. He did resubmit, as I said, preliminarily. He sent me an email and said, hey, does this meet specification? Out of courtesy, I did review it because I'm trying to get this project moving.
How far behind? He's already behind.
He's already behind. Yes, sir.
So what's the issue with the change order that he's requested?
Right now, that's a non-issue at this moment. It was
We
not.
started
Well, I think
project,
it's-
he's a
I
month
think it's
behind
still
and
an
we
issue
have
on
a change
his,
order.
he's claiming it's an issue, right?
Well, no, I have spoken to him and we've cleared that issue. There is not a change order. He is not awaiting a change order at this moment. There is no change order. due to the contractor at this point in time. He had some questions regarding the existing air conditioning system that's in place that was not specified on the bid drawings. However, I've gotten with Brian as well as a local HVAC dealer, and we have taken care of that issue. And it is basically, it's a non-issue to the contractor because it's going to be addressed prior to him even getting on site.
So it's not a part of his scope at all.
Not at this time, no, sir. So it is not affecting, it is not affecting his schedule, and it's not affecting his material delivery time.
Next.
All right, thank you.
Hmm.
Request approval of substantial completion on the Tacopah Landing project and authorize president to sign.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Diaz,
Good, Mike? Second.
second by Mr. Mathern. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Update on courthouse renovation project. I attended a meeting today with Grace Abear to review their plans. I asked them to email me the drawings that they had, and they didn't send it to me before the meeting. So I'll send that around to you guys so that you can take a look at what they propose for the renovation for the bathroom. And then I also discussed with them providing us that proposal to evaluate the building, to give us their opinion if the building is worthy of a renovation or replacement. So we will follow up with them. He said that within, actually before our next meeting, he'll have that proposal to us to let us know how much it would cost to evaluate the building for that. But with respect to the project that we have right now for the bathrooms, I'll circulate that to everyone and see if there's any comments, and we can give them any comments we have back. So no action on that item. Update on Joel Moore Street drainage project.
Yes, as you all are aware, we delivered those plans and to the jury as well to GIS. GIS came back with their comments previously. We have addressed those comments as well as made some modifications to the plans to bring the project back to within the budget that was proposed. We believe we've reached that point. We have resent those plans again to GIS. We've reviewed some preliminary comments. Where we stand right now is based on that last review and where we are, we're going to prepare the final bid proposal to go into the specifications, similar to what the decisions we are doing on Belrose Lane. It's going to be bid in a very similar fashion. We'll put those into the specifications, and then that final set, along with the specifications, will be delivered to GIS for your approval.
Will this project be ready for bid by the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Bertrandville Drainage Canal Project.
Met with a contractor yesterday and rode the entire canal from one end to the other. Those plans are 99% complete, and with some minor adjustments, by tomorrow afternoon, that package will be ready to go to bid. I will deliver it to this jury, and at which point you can, if you so all wish or direct me to, we will also deliver it to GIS if necessary. But we also, we rode the entire canal to see what portions were already completed by landowner assistance and whatnot. So we adjusted the scope down to bring that to what is actually on site. And now we're adjusting the drawings accordingly. That should be completed, as I said, by tomorrow afternoon. Those plans will be delivered to you all, and upon your approval, I would then forward them to GIS.
I would like to see you forward to GIS also, so they can start getting it ready for go out for bid on that project also.
Yes, sir.
We've already had our update on Jarrett Street levy project, and then for the ring levies in Pierport. Update on Lee Drive project.
Lee Drive. I've spoken with the contractor. We did go out there. We did identify some areas where there were some concerns. We've addressed them under warranty. With regards to the 4 driveways that are remaining, I spoke with the contractor. We are scheduling to do them. We want to get them done and completed and get this project closed out as we have a June 30th deadline. So we want, and that whole thing has to be done. So I've spoken with him. We're coordinating to get that done within the next 30 days to get the driveways done and any other warranty issues that have arisen to this point taken care of so that we can get the project closed out in a timely fashion.
Any other discussion for Shell Beach Boat Landing?
Well, just waiting on Joseph for the paperwork.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Brewer, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We'll call our 6 o'clock meeting to order at now 6:52. And let the record reflect that Mr. Nakant is not present. We'll lead with the prayer and follow with the pledge of allegiance. God, who teaches us by sending us the light of the Holy Spirit into our hearts, grant that by the light of that Spirit, that right judgment may be ours, and that we may ever find guidance in his judgment. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Press approval of minutes of regular meeting on April 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn. Second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment period. At this time, we'll take public comment for any item on the agenda. Second call. No, this is, so anybody in the public that wants to comment on any item on the agenda, now is your chance to comment.
All right, I'll do it.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Oh, Ronnie Legler, 113 Mike Street, Pierre Park, Louisiana.
Just noted your public comment will be limited to 2 minutes.
All right. We are concerned with, mobile homes being moved into, Ward 9 area. We are aware that no permits have been done on temporary permits, and, we would like resolution for it. Also, we would like some clarity on, there's a wind zone rating. How can a non-wind zone trailer be put into an area that is wind zone rated? We have South Central Planning is a great code. My house is 3 years old. I followed it, everything else. I'm very happy with it, very pleased. And you can just hook onto a trailer, hook onto a whole house, put it on and hook some wires to it and charge somebody rent to live in it. So right now there's multiple properties in Ward 9 that are hooked to temporary power. People's paying rent on them. And we're concerned about fire marshal, we're concerned about some of the blight that was just put in there, and just the willful disregard for our codes and our parish, just willful disregard for it. Anybody else?
Hi, guys. Miss me?
State your name and address for the record.
Sandy Foray, 188 Rebecca Lane, Pierre Port, Louisiana, Ward 9. I want to start by saying this is not personal against any landlord. I love my community and I'm passionate about keeping it beautiful and moving forward, as I'm sure you guys all are. Having said that, I ask the jurors to please consider changing the ordinances for mobile home parks and other rental properties in order to keep our communities moving in a positive direction. Please consider the following: age and condition of rental property, skirting of mobile homes, surveys to ensure proper elevation and boundary setbacks, etc. No more temporary pole permits, fencing around mobile home parks. And finally, responsibility of landlords to ensure that all rental properties are kept in good condition. Thank you. The mobile homes that are put in all over Ward 9, maybe possibly Ward 8, I'm not sure, or free mobile homes this landlord is getting. Some are 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. They're dilapidated. They're they're moving into these areas where people have $1 million of property they've invested in. And it's just, it's not right. He's not following the rules and we'd like stricter rules. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Justin, let me ask you a question. These trailers that are being moved, are they coming to get permits?
Chris, we'll discuss it on item 13.
Okay. 13.
Hi, I'm Beryl Gomez, 664 Michelle Road, Pierre Park, Louisiana. You all know I have the Pierre Park Bell River Community Advocacy Group. I have forwarded to our 3 drawers a list of 25 questions, I believe it is, in regards to what everyone wants to know about what the ordinance does support and how can it be fine-tuned to be stronger, and for South Central South Central, that's where I worked. South Central Planning to follow through with all of the inspections that are needed, but primarily it's no temporary poles. And, some of the questions are, how many of them exist out there? And what follow through has been done with them? How are we going to resolve the problems that have not followed through with all of the inspections required for any type of home that's put in place? So I don't need you to answer those. You've got them in your hands. If I need to send it to anybody else, I'll be happy to, but we would like you to consider addressing all of those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Beryl.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Drainage Committee report, Chairman Pineville.
Yes, sir. The Drainage Committee had their meeting this afternoon. All members were present. We had an update from the parish manager on the drainage projects, and we had discussed drainage issues on Agnes Street. I'll present this all of the motion, please.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pineville, second by Mr. Mathern. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Finance Committee report. Finance Committee met at 4:55. All members were present except for Mr. Nakam. We approved to pay the list of bills submitted through May 3rd, 2024. We approved the selection of the Bayou Pioneer as the official journal for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. We received an update on pricing for dual facing cameras for parish vehicles. And Mr. Claymore will get back with us with the list of vehicles and a total cost. We approved to purchase the emergency response fuel trailer and approve the additional funding to come from the general fund. And we discussed the jail nurse position. We'll have a meeting with Dr. Landry soon in the next week or so to discuss an option that he has to propose to us. Entertain a motion to accept.
Motion to accept your report.
Motion to accept by Mr. Alcorn. Second by Mr. Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Personnel Committee report, Chairman Diaz.
Personnel Committee met at 5:08. All members were present except Mr. Nakam. Item number 1, we approved 2 weeks of FMLA leave for a CDF employee. Item 2, we approved transfer of Rayetta Crochet to accountant at a grade 8, step 16, not to exceed 90-day transition for new grants coordinator. We approved pay increase for Michelle Solar, accountant to grade 8, step 18, and Melissa Riviere, accountant to grade 8, step 32, effective May 17, 2024. Item 4, we discussed the grant coordinator position, set up a meeting with South Central Planning next week. 5, we approved the secretary treasurer to go out, offer a special assistant to the secretary treasurer position. And we deviated for number 6 to approve FMLA leave for a maintenance employee for 2 weeks. Present this to you all in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Diaz,
Second.
second by Mr. Pineville. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Road and Bridge Committee report, Chairman Alcorn.
Yeah, Road and Bridge Committee, met this afternoon. All members were present except for Mr. Nakam. 2 items on the agenda. Number 1, we approved the application quantity and placement for speed bumps for Caution Road in Ward 4. And item number 2, we received an update of the road overlay program from Mr. Saab. I'll give you these 2 items in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn. Second by Mr. Bro. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Engineering Grants Committee met, all members were present except for Mr. Nakam. We received an update on projects and funding statuses from GIS Engineering. Received an update from Duplantis Design Group on the levee surveying work that they are completing for us. We got an update from Infinity Engineering for the water sector sewer project. An update from the grants coordinator, where we approved to enter into a contract with GIS for the survey of the Virginia Street water sector sewer improvement project. And we also approved an amendment to the scope of the Platteville drainage project. We approved 4.5 foot hardship variance on the side property line at 5572 Highway 1. Received an update on the fire hydrant project. Received an update on the Bell Rose drainage project, where we approved to allocate an additional $168,926 towards that project. We had an update on the Ag Center roof project. We approved the substantial completion on the Tacopah Landing project and authorized the president to sign. Received an update on the courthouse renovation project. Received an update on Joe Lamar Street drainage project. Received an update on Bertrandville drainage canal project. The updates on Gerald Street levee and ring levee projects were included in the update from the Duplantis Design Group. Received an update on the Lee Drive project and the Shell Beach boat landing.
Motion to approve as read.
Motion to approve by Mr. Pondville. Second by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, discuss questions and concerns regarding the South Loop Project, Ward 4.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My reasons for being here is because I went on your site and I noticed about this South Loop project, funds were being allocated from Ward 2. And recently, because I was in Ward 2 and then you guys did a redistricting and now I'm Ward 4. So it was kind of confusing because I was trying to figure out how the two were coordinating. But in my opinion, the decision-making of the South Loop project appears to be attempting to proceed without the benefit of a comprehensive community planning. This South Loop project that's gonna happen, I think, Pear Street, is it? Pear Street, which will direct the water to the bayou. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, because I'm learning the language here. I have no idea. But where I live is 408 Willow Street, and we also own 130 Maple Street resident. We have always on 408 side had flooding, which flowed from the bayou all the way down to Kingston subdivision, which goes all the way back to that canal that's in the back. The canal, Jeff Landry did shut a lot of the ditches down and put those culverts. And, but now that we have the culverts are not maintained. So with the South Loop project, where it's gonna direct the water, it's gonna come back and it's gonna cause us the problems because we flooded in my mom's home once before. And there's a dire need for effective coordinated planning because, and especially in the Kingston area, especially with the engineering company. My concern is I noticed like I said, the monies were being allocated, which means that, and I'm going to say an assumption, that the engineering group has come back and explained the pros and the cons of what's gonna happen. Have they?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It is a state project.
Okay, so if it's a state project, you still have to have the engineers to come back to the parish and explain to the parish the pros and the cons. Am I correct?
It should.
Sure.
It should.
They should, because if they don't, then we got a big problem. So. It's questionable whether the reservoir within the area can survive the next 30 years at the present rate. Because if we get 15 inches of rain to fall, we have a
We're all in
problem.
trouble.
We all in trouble.
We're in trouble. So, and nothing, no one here can say it won't happen. Because nobody thought Hurricane Katrina would happen, and it happened. So, Pine Street, Willow Street, and Maple Street are going to be caught up in this. I would like to know what engineering firm has been hired to do this project.
We'll have
Anybody
to
know?
send a request to the state and request that information. At this time, we don't know.
The state probably has their own inside
Right.
engineers.
So the state doesn't inform the parish?
No,
What?
no.
It's their project.
Okay,
What's the purpose of the project?
yeah, what is that purpose? Because I was gonna ask it.
Because I've experienced that canal back in February the 1st, 88. We had a 7.5 inch rain in 45 minutes and we flooded. And the canal had a lot of debris in it. But
It's
if
horrible.
filled up with a pipe and dirt, we will have a disastrous thing in Labrador. Any amount of rain comes down, but real quick. And it should be, I would like to talk to the engineer and design this. Because I've seen a canal 2/3 full, it acts as a reservoir when you have a big downpour. And 3/4, so if you fill it up with ditch, with the dirt, all the water's going to people's
So the
houses.
project come from the state representative, state
I have
representative, that
no idea.
project?
It's-
Who got a
I
project on the
hadn't
floor?
heard anything about this project.
Who got a project on the
Oh, you
floor?
have
I
some
know it's
contacts?
in a process
Yes,
because
ma'am. That project that's part of that credit swapping from 1247 that, you know, that was.
They did Brewery
The
Road.
road.
That's correct. It did Brewley Road, and that was a project spearheaded by Mr. Nakane, who's not here, so that was his project, so he came with that, you know, that project, so.
Okay.
Wasn't this
May I-
project, on the books because of the road condition?
That is correct. Parish Street, the bulkhead system on Parish Street is failing, so either you have to repair the bulkhead, so they came in with the idea of filling in the canal, which would take away the bulkhead, so it was a public safety issue for the people on Parish Street.
it was 35 years ago a problem. The street,
Yes.
we put the bulkhead in with wood. Now you can put metal now and go across the canal with some metal supports. And it would act a heck of a lot better than filling up the canal with dirt.
Yes, sir. I agree with that, Mr. Charles. I wasn't part of that.
No, and I'm just telling you how I
Yes, sir.
feel about it because I experienced all this already some years back. Now, that bulkhead lasted 35 years. So, you know, another one might last 50 years if it's metal, sheet pile.
I agree.
So as far as this point here, what we do, we call the state and tell the state to
That's right,
come
we
to
don't
us.
want the project.
We don't
So I think right now,
It's
Mr.
already
Landry,
laid
can
out.
you set up a meeting with the area engineer, the LSR,
Yeah, we gonna soil samples.
and,
They got a contract.
see if we can get a question from him on any negative impacts on the parish drainage system from this project, and have they been
Better be
evaluated?
quick, because they get ready to start.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this, okay, from a legal perspective where I work. You would not want to do that because you will have on your hands class action suits. And we don't want that in Assumption Parish. We want to, honestly, the residents in that area, we want the problem taken care of, and we want the members here to do that, because that's why you were appointed, and the residents there pay their taxes, their fair taxes, to have drainage systems that work and not have their homes floating like their boats. So I am here today asking that this jury, they stop it. Because if that loop goes as they're planning to do, and, you know, and causes our area in Kingston community to flood, we are going to prepare ourselves because you're not gonna buy us another house. My mom's house flooded and I spent over $25,000 renovating it. And then 3 weeks later, when I finished, my house flooded. And yes, we had some problems around the house as far as my mom's little plants moving from the house so the house could breathe. Okay, I did that. I gutted them all up. But I don't want the water being caused because it comes straight down. I have pictures of where the culverts were put and they're not maintained. Now, if I had one directly in front of my house, we would say we'll clean them because our concern is our homes. But many residents won't do that because they're saying we pay taxes. You guys approve for the culverts to go down, and it is your responsibility to make sure that the debris, at least sometimes during the year, in the fall, when the leaves falling, you send someone to check these culverts out.
Let's just make sure we're clear. The parish did not approve that project did not come in front of this jury,
The culverts?
the culvert.
Well,
That is-
who approved them? Cause they sure?
It is a state project that is outside.
So who
parish-
told the state?
The parish did not approve that project.
I spoke with Nakan myself, and I complained about the ditches always overflowing.
You're talking about the ditches in the.
She's talking about the ditches now. She's talking about.
Yeah, in a subdivision.
Talking about subdivision.
Okay.
No, you're talking about the.
I 100% agree with you. They are not maintained.
They are not maintained, and I have pictures, I can prove it to
They're
you.
not only not maintained in Kingston subdivision,
The whole-
throughout the entire parish.
Well, then that's a parish problem.
It's been a parish problem.
And why is that?
I'm one.
Why is it? Someone can answer that?
You mentioned Pine Street and a few other streets, Maple and all.
Uh-huh.
But it actually drains, that south loop drains all the way to Redwood. That's
Uh-huh.
all of Lavender.
Okay, but I'm talking about where I live, and let's stay focused. Where I live, okay? I can't help everybody, but I'm gonna help Willow and Maple, so, and Pine, because they happen to be connected to us. But, I want those culverts to be maintained. If you're gonna put them down, you're gonna clean them. And that's a job for who? Oh, here we go, the parish. There you go.
It all depends. Sometimes it's for the parish, sometimes it's for the
Sometimes for the
landowner.
state.
But sometimes the landowner
We have a-
requests,
we have a-
put their own
you
covers down.
superintendent, manager for the parish, and he got master plan, and he's working on to do all these covers. Right, Eric, you're on top of it.
And how long is that gonna take?
That's a
Aaron,
good question, man. I've been here for almost 5 years. I still.
Oh.
You see, this is the problem, okay, and I've learned this throughout my career and my education, all right? It takes years to get something done that can take probably maybe 6 months. And it's always on the back burner. It's on the back burner. And the taxpayers suffer. You guys are sitting here because people wanted you here. You're not here because you said, this is my seat and I'm gonna take it. No, the people wanted you here. So we're coming to you and we're asking you, help us. Because if you don't help us, then we have to take the next step. I'm not afraid to take the next step because that's what I do for a living. I'm asking that Willow, Maple, and Pine, those culverts be cleaned. Just had today, I said, wow, I'm coming here and look what happens. Somebody sent out for them to spray because nobody, the parish property for the ditches that we do have, who's supposed to cut them? Us? That's the parish problem?
Ma'am, if I may,
Uh-huh.
your issue is South Loop project, so.
Okay, well, I'll get back on it, that's not a
Okay,
problem.
but we're gonna contact DOT, correct? Mr.
Yes.
Elzar, who is the project engineer, because it's a state project. We're gonna follow up. We've also heard your concerns relative to the ditches and the culverts. Mr. Landry's gonna focus on that. And if you need anything else, you could just leave your name and information, and then we'll proceed accordingly.
Okay, well, I'm not finished though.
We have a lot of people.
I understand that, but nobody has a minute. They didn't have, nobody said they had 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
Okay, you can have 2 more minutes.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
fine with
thank
that.
you very much.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so let me ask you this. All right. Let me see, where is my, all right. Can you tell me who's the engineer? Y'all know that?
For the state project,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Ellisar, that's who's contacting.
I would have to reach out to him and find out who the company is.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, I'll write that down. All right, now, let's see. The amount of water out on that canal, the, amount of water that's in the canal, is it true that every gallon should have 8 pounds of water? Is that true?
8.2,
8.328.
8.328.
8.3. Okay, that's a lot of water.
Yeah, lot of weight.
That's a lot of weight. So what happens if that water pushes through? And,
Well, if the canal is left open
uh-huh,
and it's a reservoir,
uh-huh,
the water will go through LA1 to
Uh-huh.
Boiler Fourche much quicker with head pressure. If the canal is full of water, it'll have a heavy head pressure to push it out just like a pump. It'll go into the body quicker.
it'll go into the body.
But if you have just dirt in the canal, all you have is one pipe going out. And if you don't have enough catch basins to get air in the pipe, it won't flow.
So when they do the South Loop project, they're going to put dirt.
Yes?
So everything that you just said that's gonna happen, and they do the process the way I just asked you, that's gonna cause,
That's right.
amen.
I found that out
There we
by
go.
the 2 guys standing at the highway, looking into the canal. I thought they were looking at an alley.
Mhm.
And they were contracted, it was sent by the contractor to check it out, to fill the canal with dirt. That's all I found.
Okay, so you're over Ward 4 now,
Yes.
and Mr. Naka is over Ward 2.
And that's Ward 2. South Loop is Ward 2.
So Ward 2 gonna flood Ward 4. Okay, that's all I needed. I'm finished.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, you're welcome.
Don't sit down, you next in the line.
Discuss,
Oh,
discuss,
that's Darlene.
Who's second item?
That's
Discuss-
the next one.
discuss questions and
I'll
concerns
help her
regarding
down.
speed bumps and garbage collection on Maple Street, Ward 4.
Hi, my name is Darlene Cheatham. I live on 206 Maple Street in Lavendale. My concern was speed bumps and the garbage debris. Who do we need to speak to? I've already spoken to Justin. And I have the rest of the signatures that I need to get more speed bumps because we have impaired children who are deaf in our neighborhoods. And, you know, it's summertime. They don't just stay on the street there, live it. They roam around our neighborhoods. So we need more speed bumps because there's a lot of people who don't even live in our neighborhoods, run up and down our streets like they're on a drag race. We complain, nothing happens. So we prefer to have the speed bumps. Oh, and also we have like a few signs, but we notice the signs that don't have like hearing impaired people, because we have the children, plus we have adults, elderly adults. And we see that the signs are below where the people who's driving in the cars, you can't really see that because it's down here. You should be up here. So like I said, I talked to Justin, so we need to get our speed bumps, our slow signs. Oh, a big old picture. Oh, and you have a big old picture on Pine Street about horse crossing,
Oh, it's big, it's huge.
but you have a small sign about children impaired, deaf children in the neighborhood. Anyway.
Yes, ma'am, you can just put in your request to Mr. Aaron, or you can put into the Public Works Department, they'll get you some signage, they'll get you hearing impaired signs, we order those signs specially, we can order it special.
Okay, and we also need to find out who's in charge of picking up the debris,
Trash.
the trash. Cause we used to put it on the end of Willow, and Maple, but nobody picks it up. And we also noticed at the end of Maple, there's a lot of debris from like the storms, trees, branches and things like that. Nobody's picking them up. We want our area to be clean. We are taxpayers. We like to keep our areas clean. We want it like that for our kids and for ourselves. So who do we need to speak to about picking up the trash?
If the garbage should be in front of your
It's not
house,
garbage.
or the truck, whatever it is.
It's like
If it-
branches and
Branch
things like
that
that.
has to be in front of your house. That's the only way they gonna pick it up. Is that the end of
They
the
say
street?
don't put it in the front of your house because we have those power wires.
You don't-
Correct. So
So where we had
So
it at.
it's only a point of just communicating. You can do it two ways.
Mhm.
There's a number you can contact to the Road and Bridge office, or you can contact your juror and say, hey, look, let the garbage, the waste people know that I'm gonna put my trash, I'm at this resident, but I'm gonna put it to this next neighboring property. He can communicate with them and they will get it. Just like
I think
that,
so.
huh?
They do
They
it.
get it. They do it for me. They do it for me.
I did that when we had our last juror, and he
Okay,
said
well,
no.
who did you do it with?
We used to do it, our last juror was, Jeff Knockett was our last juror.
Yeah.
So we need
I
to
don't have
know
no
who's
problem.
gonna pick up our
I have
branches
a lot
and
of
our,
problems with trash pickup.
Yeah.
who?
And we'll discuss that a little later.
Okay,
All right.
all right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Discuss terminating current contract with Waste Depot. Mr. Bro.
Reference to what you were saying, I have that problem too. They're not picking up trash anymore. Before, we have piles, there's little trees are growing in. It's been this for so long. I'm new here since January, and these piles have been out for years, and they're not picking them up. And they say, well, you don't have a water meter. Hell. They got branches and ditches that fell from 2 storms ago, and that, they don't have a water meter there, but it's obstructing the drainage. Why don't trash men pick it up and bring it with?
Because that's how they got paid, that's how they get
Why?
paid.
Because it's a
You
hell
got
of
a
a
garbage
contract.
can, you got a water meter,
It's
that's
a
how they
hell of a
get paid.
contract. I was in here 20 years ago and we had, they picked up everything, even tires.
They pick that up.
It's a new world.
They
So
never
it's
pick
not-
up the tires,
it's
though.
new people here.
So, Mr. Bro,
Y'all
let me,
approved
let
that,
me,
but I wouldn't have, if I was, would have been here for that contract.
all right.
I would like to.
The process that we need to follow for this, because we've had Waste Depot in here for these piles. They submit to us a list of piles that were out of spec that they don't touch. You should have
I would
received
like
that
to
in your
get rid of
email.
them.
You-
That's my next move. I'd like a motion to terminate their contract.
Mr. Boone, they following the contract, we
I
put
read it,
in,
they're not
we
picking
put
up
in,
any
we
more
put in
door.
specifications in the contract, and you
Mr.
can't
Alphonse, let me
give.
finish, please.
Go ahead.
All right. Any piles that are not on their spec, out of spec list, you notify them and let them know that it needs to be on their list if they're not picking it up. All right? If they say that they won't pick up that list, whenever he was here, he agreed with Mr. Nakhan that if the waste committee said that they had to pick up that pile, they would pick up that pile. All right? Whenever we had this contract, we instituted liquidated damages into the contract for any pile that they refused to pick up. They have not been once assessed liquidated damages. So I'm asking you.
Yeah, but y'all didn't give it to them, the liquidated damage. They didn't pick it up.
We have to work through the process in order to get there. Mr.
So-
Bro, and that's
so-
what we're trying to do. Yes, sir.
Right, so we need to notify them of the piles that they're not picking up. If we terminate their contract without having assessed liquidated damages, and I think we're heading down a road that we don't want to go.
Leroy, I think what it is I rode Mr. Brew every year.
It's terrible.
I rode about 4 or 5 streets the other day. A lot of his problems is not that they're not picking up the piles. Where the piles are at, there's no services there. So they're not gonna pick it up. And, you know, if you just got these piles sitting out with no service
Three
there,
little piles in front of my house across the highway. My property line starts at the water line of Viola Foods, 13 acres deep. It's on my property. I have a water meter in the house. And then I pick it up. I saw the truck pass. I was in the back
Did
working.
you call?
I said, yeah.
Nobody told you.
No, he looked at it and it kept going. That was but maybe a month ago. Never came back. And small piles, small branches.
well, they sent out an email.
I have a water meter.
They sent out an email with the piles. So if you get the email with the piles, you don't see your pile on it and not getting service, then you can contact them.
I did.
And what they told you?
Nothing.
They didn't tell you nothing at all.
He was supposed to be at the last meeting. He told me he was coming, I said, I'm glad to see you, come on over, I want to discuss something. He didn't show up.
I'm not having any issue with Carl at
I'm
all.
having a lot.
I think the only issue we're having is that they're claiming to be picking up 4 cubic yards, but multiple times I know they're not picking up the 4 cubic yards, so the resident is getting rid of the garbage or the trash before they come back, and that's the.
I have several complaints about, the amount that they pick up, but I just explained it to the residents, and they come back and.
No resident wants trees sitting in their yards, but.
That's why they don't
Months
put it
at
in
a
front
time.
yard. It's gonna be there for a
Get rid
couple of
it
years.
themselves.
Well, I mean, we the jury, so we wanna amend the contract
I'd like
and say,
to-
okay, pick up the total pile.
We gotta pay
We're
for
gonna pay
that.
more, but if we Then the we gotta jury, charge- then
We
we
gotta
charge the
pay.
people.
You wanna do that?
Then we gotta charge the people. though. They go up to the people, the voters.
It's not working anymore.
It's not working.
Well, the next thing I was, like to send a letter to the lieutenant governor. I saw him on TV, say he loved to keep Louisiana clean.
I sent that letter last week.
You did?
Yeah, but he didn't come.
He didn't. Well, send him another letter, please.
Can I put your name
All right.
on?
Definitely. Put my telephone.
I think I did.
Next item.
Maybe we can get the National Guard and water so they come clean it up when they come back from Mexico.
Empty
lots
that
don't have
Say it again.
house structure on it, that don't have a water meter, it can be reported as a junk complaint.
It could be reported as a junk.
Yeah.
Wow. And then it's gonna cost the landowner.
Yeah, they're not gonna like that. Okay,
No, they're not gonna
what we
like
need to do, Mr. Bro, is I will personally send an email tomorrow to Brian's assistant. I will CC you on that email and tell him to send us the out of spec categories for Ward 4, for your particular area. We're gonna go through that list. We're gonna see exactly what's out of spec and what's not. And then we'll see what he can coordinate in terms of what needs to be picked up and what doesn't. We've had issues like this in the past. They have been difficult sometimes to communicate with, but I think we need to give that one more shot based on the contract. And then if you're not satisfied, we can then discuss the matter of liquidated damages. Is that okay?
Definitely.
Okay.
Do something. We have to do something.
We'll do that tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr.
Tired
Calabro.
of it.
All right, thank you.
Next item, discuss manufactured home ordinance, Mr. Mathern.
Yes, I put this on the agenda, fellas, excuse me. We have, issues in the parish where, mobile homes and trailers, being put on property with, temporary, electricity, but I don't think they really need it, cause if you're moving a house there or a trailer already on the site, they shouldn't have to have a temporary tag, they should be able to get the full service permit. Justin, I talked to Justin, did you talk to South Central Planning on this?
Yes, they have a representative here, but we know going forward that.
They get up to speak where they can hear you.
That the permits are being pulled for these properties, but they might have not been the correct permits, but going forward, we know what permit we need to do for
I
these.
guess the question, Justin, is
How we fix it?
why would we issue temporary permits for trailers?
Because they weren't bird trailers, that's what.
It was a willful violation. Somebody willfully went around.
We were told.
Right.
They needed a pole to clean the property.
We know on all our permits, like, if you do put a structure, you gotta come back and pull a permit for that, get elevation, get sewer clearance. And that just didn't happen with a lot of these properties, and they were putting and hooked up with temporary power.
Bypassed everything that we have in place that we know works.
And don't the state have regulations for trailers that can be moved, have to be a certain wind code, wind zone?
They need to move within the parish, no matter, like,
Sam,
they
come to
already
the
in
mic,
the
I can't hear you.
parish.
Yeah,
Come to the mic, Justin.
No, you're good where you
I didn't know.
are. Here's what's happening, guys. Justin's working through all of the issues that have been brought forward by the community. He's working with South Central Planning. He's making sure that all of the code enforcement issues that are now presently at bay, they are all being handled. Mr. Landry, as far as I'm told, is out of town, but he is working through those. If he is not, that will be handled by LDH. That will be handled by South Central Planning. We do not have a code enforcement officer. Therefore, we have to rely on these particular agencies to assist us moving forward. So just, again, getting Mr. Claymont on the stand here and going through items, it's just not gonna help anybody, so I'm just trying to save you some time and energy. We are working through it, we're trying to do the best we can, we just need some time in order to work through that and move forward accordingly.
okay?
Will you guys hold South Central Planning accountable?
We're doing our best. We're doing our best, yes, sir.
So you,
Okay.
Sometimes your best is not good, I mean.
Understood.
I know that we did a major project in Bell River, and we were held accountable for everything.
Understood.
And now you're telling me all of a sudden, these guys are supposed to be so tough on everybody, and they can't do their jobs?
We are gonna.
We will be following up with you.
And I understand that. Yep, you got it. Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Michael, on the wind zone too, you know.
But guys, we already did the public comment. We already kind of went through it. If Myron has other issues relative to the ordinance, he can speak to that. I just wanted to not put Mr. Claymont on the stand here and kind of beat him up because it's just not gonna get us anywhere. So if Myron has other issues with the ordinance, he can speak to
Yeah, I
that.
have one other, on the ordinance. A couple of months ago, we abandoned the fencing around mobile home parks and because at that time we had the storm come in and we had different kind of trailers coming in. And so some of the jurors went ahead and said, look, man, we need to put a fence on it. Well, we have the same problem right now. So I had to see, put the fence also back into the system.
Fencing is not your problem.
Fence would help some of my problem.
No, if a fence will help your problem, then anybody that don't wanna see the trailer put a fence on their property, that's not your problem. Your problem.
I'm making right now on the books, I'm making a motion that we put the fence back into the ordinance for our fencing.
And I'm making a counter motion that we don't put the fence back in motion. I think we need to see what the surrounding parishes are doing and look at what they have in place and then make a sound
They
decision.
don't take old trailers in place. 5 years old, they can't put a trailer in their parish.
Let's get what the surrounding parishes are doing, take a look at their plans, and then make a sound decision how we're gonna handle ours.
So you.
Mr. Mathern,
Yes, sir.
just, if you would like to revise the ordinance, send a revised language to us, we'll put it on the next agenda. We can consider that language, we'll put it for public comment. That's the process for amending our ordinance. We don't just make a motion right now to change the ordinance.
Okay, but we'll
So
talk-
submit the language that you would like changed in the ordinance. The jury will consider that language, put it out for public comment, and then we'll hear public comment and adopt the ordinance if the jury will choose.
No ma'am.
If there's any language that you'd like updated with the ordinance, get with Mr. Mathern.
We'll put on next agenda.
Or just get on the agenda next meeting, and then you can ask your questions.
Request approval of a can shake permit for Knights of Columbus, 10/11/24 and 10/12/24.
So
Motion by
moved.
Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval of an occupational license for Mobile Sweets and Eats Pierpont. Motion by Mr. Ponville, second by Mr. Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval of liquor license for Samantha Mack, 401 Highway 1012, Napoleonville, doing business as Tipsy Turtle.
I just got a question on that. It's a mobile bar.
Oh, what?
It's a mobile bar. I don't know if we wanna, entertain anything like that. Maybe look into it.
That almost seems like that would need a peddler's license.
Yeah, but she said that they still told her that she needed an actual liquor license.
Oh, so this is for the liquor license.
Cause you start doing mobile bars, you can pull up next to.
Yeah, but they're not regulated by the parish. That's gonna be the state to
Yeah.
determine that
Yeah.
regulation.
Can we get with her, Kim, and just correct her information on that, or come here and provide more information?
What would she?
I don't know. I don't even know if we have anything that covers.
It's a trailer that she.
Yeah, like a
Right.
Food truck, snowball.
Like a food
trailer.
truck,
yeah,
but
like a smaller one.
Let's table it till we get more
Get more
information.
information.
All right, we got a motion to table by,
Table, second.
Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Pineville. All in favor? Motion table. I'm sorry, item table.
Motion to adjourn.
Any further business?
I just have one announcement. It's short. Haven was here for such a short time with us, but she did a great job while she was here, and I wish her the best in her moving forward.
Thank you,
Good
Haley.
luck, appreciate it.
Great job.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Alcorn, second by Mr. Pineville. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
I need it. Gotta change your.
Yeah, that was.
That's it.
I'm not finished.